Back to the channel. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button. This is the fifth step of the PayPal subscription tutorial. In this step, we are going to be inserting the subscription details into the database using the subscription ID and the access token in order to access the PayPal REST API. Alright, so we have created our sub_details.php file, which is this. Remember, in our last tutorial where we created our subscription, we landed here. Now we are going to be fetching this from the URL, the subscription ID, and the access token, which is this. Right? So we'll use get global variable, but before then we'll define our variable called it subscription ID. Then PayPal global variable, just call it. The name is subscription ID, I believe. That's what we have here, subscription ID. Then we also get our token. Our access underscore token. Remember, the access underscore token, the index name is coming from the URL, which is this name. That's why we have it there. Alright, I'm going to just use an if statement just in case if a user wants to try something else. If the subscription ID variable, if it is empty, or if the token variable, if it is empty, you can use header location function. You can redirect the user to error page or just take them back using the JavaScript. / history. Take them back to wherever they are coming from. That's what that script does. Right? Okay. Alright, now we're going to head over to our PayPal documentation to get the subscription details coil command. Okay. So here under subscription management, this is the show subscription details. Alright, so we're going to copy this sample request. Copy that. Let's just okay, successful request returns 200 OK status code and JSON response body. So if we copy this, and that's what we have. Let's copy everything. So I'm going to paste it right here. Okay, so we'll do some little modification. So this is the sample subscription ID, but remember we are getting ours from the URL, which is from this variable as we have here. So this is the subscription ID and this is what we need. So just cancel this sample and concatenate it using raw URL encode function to get the subscription ID. Alright, then access token. Get our token. Okay, and remember, if there's an error, just call underscore error function. Okay, I think I have the code here. So if there's an error, echo the error. So if there's error, it will echo the error else. Find a variable called response. And okay, what we need here is to decode and know what we have, know the details we have. So we use JSON underscore decode function. Pass our result variable. Remember, this our result variable is coming from here. Okay, maybe we're going to dump it and see what we have. Okay, let's just run this code and enter. See what we good. So this is our subscription details which we just fetched. So the status, it shows that it's active. Okay, just like we have here. It's active, and this is the subscription ID, ends with KMEV. This is the subscription ID, KMEV, and this is the plan ID. So these are all the details. Look at the payer, Joe Biden. If you can remember when we made the payment on our previous tutorial. So that's all we need to fetch. So we need to fetch all those stuffs and insert them to our database. Okay. So first thing we need to get is the status, which is active. So define a variable called it status. Pass the response. Then the name is status. Okay, next thing up, we have gotten the status. Next thing we need is the subscriber ID. So we need this. Okay, we can get that too. So give it a variable name subscriber ID. Then pass through the response. Then ID. I think that's what we have there. So remember, we keep on passing through this response from here. Then this ID. Then we can get the plan underscore ID, which is this. So plan ID. Just give it this variable name. Response, then plan underscore ID. Yeah. So what else can we get from there? We can get the start time. We can fetch that. Start variable name, just call it start underscore time. Then response. then start underscore time. Okay, what else can we do? We can get start. Let's see. Okay, we can still get this status update time. Status underscore update underscore time. All right. So what about the details of the payer? So under this subscriber, we can get the given name, we can get this surname. Okay, we can also get the email address, we can also get the payer ID, that's if you want that. So let's just get the given name and surname. Alright, so define a variable, just call it given underscore name. Remember, we always pass from the response variable, response, then subscriber. We use arrow to access those values because we have decoded it into an object property. So this subscriber, which we have passed through, under the subscriber we can get the name, given name. No, we can get this name, then the given name first, name, then the given name. Then next we can get the surname. I think that's next in line. Then we'll still pass through the subscriber, then the name, then I think the surname. Okay, then we can just concatenate those two variables to just call it full name. So we can concatenate that, use full stop, then string, leave a space, pass the surname, so that when we insert it into the database, it will just have the full name. So the given name and the surname is being passed here. Alright, so what else can we get here? We haven't gotten the email address. Okay, after subscriber, we just get the email address. We don't need to pass through the name again. So just subscriber, email address. Okay, so just call it payment. Find a variable, just call it can give it any name, we can give it email or whatever. Okay, just call it email underscore payment underscore email underscore address. Remember to always pass through the response, then subscriber, then let's see how it's written. You have to be careful, you have to write it exactly like this. So just copy that email underscore address, email underscore address. All right. Okay. All right, we're going to use our if statement. We're using if statement now. If the variable start use is let's say if it is what, let's see how the string is written. If it is active, okay, and if the subscription ID, so now this variable subscription ID is coming from here, the one we fetch from the URL, from this page, the one passed in this URL, okay? So we want to check to be sure that is the same with what we have gotten from the PayPal API, okay? So if the subscription ID, if it's the same with the subscriber ID, because that is how it's supposed to be. For example, this is what we have in the subscription ID, and it's the same with this. Okay, looking at that condition, if the subscription ID is the same with the subscriber ID, the one we got from PayPal API, that means the subscription is successful. Then we'll find a way to insert our details in the database. Okay, so but before then, I will show you my database structure. I've done that already. So this is database structure. This is my status, subscriber ID, plan ID, start underscore time, status underscore updates. Look at the structures. Remember that they are in null value because of it will be updated subsequently. A user can cancel subscription and reactivate it again. I'll teach you all that in the next steps. Then the full name, then payments underscore email address. All right. So we have our SQL now. Maybe I need to just paste the code. So I'm going to go back to my database structure. Since we'll be using update, we'll be updating the database table subsequently. We don't need to insert the subscription details of the database. So we'll just add one more row, okay, because SQL updates using an SQL update clause, we will need a where clause, okay? So we just create one more column, maybe after the ID. Okay, just call it, let's say, session email. Okay, variable email can be 50. Okay, and just save it. All right, I can just insert my email address there. All right, I already have an email address there, so it will be easier for me. All right, now I'll just paste the code here. All right, what this means is to update customer underscore details table, set the status, sets this status, okay, is equals to status variable which we must have gotten from PayPal API, which is this active, which is this, and it's active. Then subscriber ID, column name with the subscriber variable, plan ID with plan variable, start underscore time with start underscore time variable, status update time with that, full name variable, payment email address with payment email address variable, where our session underscore email is equals to what? Email. All right, so That is just it. So let's just call this our email. We can just have a variable here, just put the same email there. All right, why I'm doing this like this, because this is normally a subscription system, has to do with users that have an account with a platform. Okay, since there's no account, my major aim is to teach you how to integrate paper subscription. So this email will serve here, will be inserted here. All right, else header location will be our success page, or it could be the page where the customer must have subscribed for their video, premium video streaming. Okay, although we don't have the success.php file yet, we also passed the status variable in the URL. Else there was a problem on our code, then the debug function, mysql_error function. Okay, so we are going to be trying out our code now and see what's going to happen. Okay, we have commented this out. All right, so refresh that. Okay, we'll have an error. We didn't connect our database connection. So we need to connect our database connection. And okay, so we're going to connect to our database now. And so this is our database folder, and this is the file. If we open it, I've already written the script. So this is our database connection, our local host with port number of 3308, username root, password no password, and sub_paper. That's my database name, which is sub_paper, as we have there. So up here I'm going to have an include function. Then database folder my db.php. All right, so I believe this should work now. Let me try that again. So refresh, boom. So we have been redirected towards success.php. Status is active. So I believe if we refresh this, we'll have those information in our database. Yes, it worked. All right, so this is the subscriber ID, the plan ID, the start time, the updated time for the subscription, then the name, Joe Biden. All right, if you've gotten value from this video, please don't forget to hit that red subscribe button if you have gotten value. So this is the subscription here. That is it. If we just open this, see what's going to happen. Okay, session is timed out. I can log back in. So guys, in my next tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to cancel the subscription. Okay, so make sure you stick with the channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that red subscribe button, so anytime I release new videos, you'll get the notification. So look at the subscription details. Remember, subscription period in progress, and this is the amount we subscribe every month. Cycles completed 1, and remember it is an infinite subscription plan. See shipping name, that's our shipping name. These are the details. and that's just about it. All right, thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.